1 in 10 children
will experience
sexual abuse
before their 18th birthday.
That stat doesn't surprise me, but it's very scary. I mean, if you think of your kid's class, that's like 2 or 3 kids in the class are being abused.
I have one son who's 10 years old. He is starting to reach the age where he will be alone with adults that he is essentially being told to trust.
Today we'll be taking the Darkness to Light training to prevent and end child sexual abuse.
I want to take this training because it feels like a responsibility of society to take care of our children, and I have nieces and nephews. We should be making sure as a society that our children feel safe and are safe.
My son is not a huge talker. The biggest thing I would want to learn is what are behavioral changes in him that I would notice that are just normal for his age or actually something's wrong, and then what are the tools I can give him in a situation if he needs to protect himself.
The format of the training, it's 2 hours long. What we're going to be learning is 5 steps of how to protect kids.
You can only protect your child so much when you're not around with them, so how do you teach them this balance of protecting themselves but also not being afraid?
That was very insightful, made me think about a lot of things that I had not necessarily considered, like reducing risk through just how many doors are open or how many adults are in a room with a bunch of kids at once.
In schools, the main thing to remember is observable and interruptible. If you're talking to a teacher, a camp counselor, just making sure that are there windows you can actually see in? Can the door be left open? It's very uncomfortable to talk about this stuff. You never want to seem like you're mean or crazy, but it is important to just be uncomfortable and say, you know, I want to actually know about this because I'm entrusting my children to you.
As someone who doesn't have children, it was really interesting to learn what to be aware of and to feel more confident about actually using body part names.
A big part of our job is to teach kids that their bodies are their own and they have choice in how they use their bodies and how it's touched or not touched. Always talking with your kids, keeping the conversation open so that they can feel comfortable telling you. And another big part is using anatomically correct terms for their body part.
A lot of the time when you grow up, especially as a young girl, you don't refer to your vagina as a vagina. You use like other names for it. I think it's really important for a kid to know the correct name for something so that they can talk about it correctly. Just like they know what an ear is, what an elbow is, they should know like what their vagina is.
One thing that surprised me, even though I expected a little bit, was just how close to the family and the survivors, the people who usually did the abuse, were.
This stranger danger thing is just not anything that is in our hands and is so little compared to the fact that over 90% of kids who are abused by people they know, that the parents often know. You know, these people are trusted by the family.
It really clicked when they brought up the concept of reducing possibility for incidents and exposure. So that made me really think like, oh, like if I come home early and the babysitter's not expecting me, or if I pick him up early from the locker room for football, whoever would possibly think about crossing a boundary with my child or another child may think twice if they're surprised and it makes it more difficult. I never thought like, oh, there are things that I can do to protect them. I always thought there was just, you have conversations and you make sure you know who they're with, but I think there's a lot more systematic things we can do, and making that a practice I think is something I will definitely do. And the other really great thing I learned for cybersecurity is turning off Wi-Fi at night. I've always thought turning Wi-Fi off was a punishment. Now I actually see it as a protection for him.
It really did have a tangible effect on my ability to prevent or spot something like this from happening. Even if there's a 1% chance that it'll help me stop a case of child abuse from happening, then it's absolutely worth a couple hours of my time.
There is prevalence to this problem, and it just looks like so many different things later in life. And then people have too much shame and stigma to talk about it. There is a line, you know, with PTSD, substance abuse, depression, so many health problems. The other day, my kids had a play date. The mom texted me and said, sorry to ask this, but I always ask this. Do you have guns? And if you do, are they locked up? I feel passionately and strongly, and hopefully we will get to a point where child sex abuse will be talked about that openly.
We talk about how we don't want our kids to be put in those situations, but there really isn't a lot of talk that we have about actionable things we can do to save our kids or to keep them safe from these kind of situations. That's what I thought was great about the training, is that it was giving us a lot of actionable things we could do to help safeguard our kids.
It's a one-time 2-hour thing, and you could save someone or more than one person a lifetime of pain, so why not do it?